The joke slipped out before he could stop it. "Guess I should just marry you, ma'am," Daniel laughed, raising his paper cup of soda as the office broke into applause for the birthday cake. "Would solve all my problems." For half a second, the room went quiet. Daniel immediately felt stupid. He was a 34-year-old single dad, a junior data analyst who barely scraped by, joking like that in front of his boss. He forced a smile, hoping everyone would laugh it off. But his boss, Eleanor Wright, didn't laugh. She just looked at him, really looked at him, and said calmly, "Daniel, stay after everyone leaves." His heart sank. Daniel hadn't planned on becoming that guy. 5 years earlier, he'd been a newly married man with big plans and a tiny apartment in New Jersey. Then life collapsed fast. His wife passed away unexpectedly after a brief illness, leaving him alone with a 2-year-old daughter, Lily, and a grief he didn't know how to carry. He worked nights. He skipped meals. He learned how to braid hair by watching YouTube videos at 3 a.m. He learned how to smile at daycare teachers while silently worrying about rent. And through it all, he learned to joke. Jokes were easier than explaining why he looked exhausted all the time. Easier than saying he hadn't bought new clothes in years because Lily needed new shoes. Easier than admitting that some nights, after Lily fell asleep on his chest, he cried quietly so she wouldn't hear. So when his company announced a small birthday gathering for Eleanor Wright, the brilliant, intimidating CEO, Daniel showed up like he always did. Polite. Invisible. Grateful to still have a job. Eleanor was everything he wasn't: confident, wealthy, composed. A woman who had built a successful tech company from the ground up. Someone who didn't look like she worried about grocery bills. The "marry me" joke was just Daniel being Daniel. Or so he thought. The office slowly emptied. Plates were tossed. Chairs scraped back. Daniel stayed frozen near the conference table, rehearsing apologies in his head. Finally, Eleanor closed the door. "Sit," she said. Daniel obeyed, his palms sweating. "Do you know why I asked you to stay?" she asked. "Yes," he said quickly. "The joke." "I'm sorry. It was inappropriate." "I didn't mean." "I know you didn't," she interrupted. "That's why I want to talk." She leaned back slightly. "How old is your daughter, Daniel?" He blinked. "She's 7. "And her name?" "Lily." Eleanor nodded. "I see you leave early every day. You never attend after-work events. You decline travel assignments. Do you know how many managers complained about that?" Daniel swallowed. "I try to make up for it with results." "You do," she said simply. "That's why you're still here." Silence stretched between them. Then Eleanor said something that shocked him. "I was a single parent once too." Daniel looked up. "My husband died when my son was 6, she continued, her voice steady but softer now. "Back then, I worked 3 jobs and slept 4 hours a night. I made jokes too. It was the only way I survived." The room felt suddenly smaller. More human. Daniel's voice cracked. "Then sometimes you joke because you don't want people to see how tired you are." "Yes," Eleanor said. "I do." She paused, then added, "Your joke today wasn't funny, Daniel. But it was honest." His chest tightened. "I didn't ask you to stay to scold you," she said. "I asked you to stay because I heard something in your voice that reminded me of myself." She reached into a folder on the table and slid a document toward him. "Read it." Daniel's eyes scanned the page. His breath caught. It was a revised contract. Flexible hours. Remote work 3 days a week. A salary increase. Full healthcare coverage for dependents. What is this?" he whispered. "This," Eleanor said, "is what happens when kindness meets honesty." Daniel shook his head. "I don't understand." "You joked about marrying me to fix your problems," she said gently. "But the truth is, you don't need someone to rescue you. You need support, not pity." She stood. "No one ever gave me that when I needed it. I promised myself I would be that person someday." Tears burned Daniel's eyes. "I didn't do anything to deserve this," he said. Eleanor smiled. You show up. You work hard. You raise your child with dignity. That's enough. He couldn't speak. That night, Daniel picked Lily up from aftercare earlier than usual. She looked up at him, surprised. Daddy. You're early. He knelt and hugged her tightly. Yeah, bug. I got a little help today. On the drive home, he told her a simplified version, about kindness, about someone understanding him. Lily listened quietly, then said, Daddy, does that mean you'll be less tired? He laughed through tears. I think so. She smiled. Good. Because I like you happy. Months passed. Daniel thrived. His work improved. His confidence grew. He started mentoring younger employees, especially those quietly struggling. One day, Eleanor stopped by his desk. How's Lily? She asked. She lost her first tooth, he said proudly. Eleanor smiled. Tell her I said congratulations. As she walked away, Daniel realized something important. The joke hadn't changed his life. The compassion that followed did.